Round two, we get a lot more 9-2 versus 9-2, 10-1 versus 11-0 kind of matchups. So Chad actually said in our text thread, we got a lot of toss ups this week. Um,
That
which,
80% is going to be hard to maintain.
exactly. Which one was the toughest for you to pick, and which way are you maybe leaning in that one that was toughest?
Well, you go right on down the line, University Bastrop, Robinson West Orange Stark, really Whitney Winsboro, Fairfield Yoakum, Axtell Tom Bean, uh, Chilton Mount Enterprise, which is a game you and
Man,
I will be at.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually, even down in the six man ranks, that Aquila Milford game, they're
Milford.
pretty
Yep.
close in those 6 man rankings. So I don't. I like what Robinson is doing, particularly on the offensive side and their ability to answer on the offensive side. They played a really good running back in Madisonville's Jaden Simpson on Friday night and kind of took some punches, but kept on punching themselves. And they've got some really good players on the defensive side, even though they didn't shut down Madisonville. So, they played the Mighty Waz on a calmer week when we didn't have three state volleyball games to cover. I'd love to drive down to Spring to cover that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, uh, for sure. Robinson, West Orange Stark. That's going to be a really fun matchup for sure. Michael, I mean, what do you think?
So the one that I really struggled with the most, and I may have not struggled with it as much if I hadn't already talked to Coach Horn about it, but the Axel Tom Bean game is very interesting. And do you guys know much about Tom Bean, like as a program or what they're doing this year? Because if
Let
not,
us know,
I'll
brother.
tell you. Okay, well, again, I've said this on the podcast before. I love Coach Horn because he keeps it real. And when I talked to him after their by district win, about potential sites, days, whatever opponents for that next round, he said, if Tom Bean wins, they're gonna want to play on a day when it's not super windy because they like to throw it around. And so I followed up on that this week and said, so this Tom Bean team apparently likes to throw it around. He goes, oh yeah. Like
Mm-hmm.
he said in his 30 years of coaching, he said he's never seen like a passing attack like this. He said maybe outside of like Colt McCoy, because they have a quarterback, Donnie Hooten, guys. I'm gonna read this off for you. He in 11 games he has thrown for 3,718 yards, pretty good, and completing 80% of his passes, pretty good, I would say. 39 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. I think
Mm.
that sounds good to me. Two receivers over 1,000 yards, almost at 1,200 apiece. So I say all that to say, hey, this actual team is state ranked and they're good. Now, are they going to be able to hang with a team like this, particularly on defense? That's going to be interesting. And on the flip side of that, can their offense keep up if it does end up being like, hey, you got to go score for score, like you mentioned, Chad Robinson has shown it can
Mm-hmm.
do that in a game.
Mm-hmm.
They've been in shootouts this year and have won those. I don't know. And Axtell really, if you look at their schedule, I mean, they haven't really been tested in that way, maybe since last week. And that wasn't necessarily a shootout. It was just tough sledding in the first half. So can they keep up? I think they have the offensive guys to do it, but this is a really, really potent offense. They may not see a better offense the rest of the year.
That's excellent insight on Tom Bean, and it just goes to show. I was sitting at the Texas Tech football game with the dean of the College of Media and Communications on Saturday, and just chatting with her. And I said, "Let me brag about this young, just recently graduated person, and the way he gets after it." I didn't tell her you were making us all look bad by calling out of area coaches all the dang time. But anyway, there you go, Michael.
I
Good
Good
appreciate
job.
that.
job. Good
I
job.
appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
Uh, I struggled with a couple of them. I saw Bastrop play against China Spring, and that was the classic tale of two halves game where Jackson Knapp and China Spring played really, really well for one half and not so well for the second half, and Bastrop, ran away with it in the second half. Um, but so I struggled with, am I swayed by what I saw in those last two quarters of that game? How much credit, how much momentum does University have coming off a big by district win? As Brian Coates texted me, he said, I called it one of the biggest wins in school history. Is that okay? Is that too much editorializing? I said, look, man, they only have 11 playoff wins coming into tonight. I think it counts. Um, the other one that Chad mentioned that he and I will be at Friday night, Chilton Mount Enterprise. That's another one I kind of struggled with because Mount Enterprise looks pretty good, obviously undefeated. And you guys have seen Chilton. I haven't, but Marnico's a difference maker. They've got a great
Yes.
defense. So, I struggled with that when I ended up taking Mount Enterprise, but I would not be surprised if you guys get that game on me. So
That's the only state ranked versus state ranked that we got.
Fairfield Yoakum.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right.
But you're right. There's not a
go.
ton that are like that. So
Uh-huh.
But still some really good record-wise matchups
yes.
for sure.
Yes.